Morning peeps, I'm back, and today we're going to talk about transfers, who to bring in, the situation with rotation and everything and what to do about it. But first I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is all this talk in the community I'm hearing about how lucky free hitters were and how the FPL gods always shine down on the content creators and the team. Everybody picks the same team and all that sort of thing. So we're going to have a chat about that. Now, I've just got out of bed, and those of you that have done these sort of things before will know that just sitting down, reading everything off in one take isn't that easy. I don't do any editing or anything. I just sit down on the couch and off I go, blah, 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 blah. And this time's no different. I haven't even checked my sound, peeps. So while I'm talking to you now, I'm actually looking through the settings on my computer to check the sound settings so you lot aren't complaining it's not loud enough, because that used to be a problem, didn't it? It's fine. See, I can do 5 things at once, like you see when I play chess and still talk to you about FPL. Anyway, let's address this elephant in the room. Where are we? Right, so first off, my team was pretty much a template team for the free hit, and I got criticised for it. But look who we were picking against. There were 4 teams to target this week: West Ham, Burnley, Leeds, and West Ham, Leeds, and West Ham, Burnley, Leeds. This is a trouble, see, peeps. Wolves. West Ham, Burnley, Leeds, and Wolves, right? So obviously, if your entire team is playing against those clubs, which mine was, you can expect a decent score, which is why so many chose game week 13 as the week to play it in, because you've got your entire team playing probably the worst 4 defences in the league. And I don't know what the average score was for free hitters, probably about 70. But to say they're lucky, I don't think it is. I mean, if you put it through the algorithms and everything, they're all expecting scores of like 65, 66. Because good players are going to score points against bad teams. And I'd argue that the free hitters have actually, if anything, been unlucky. I mean, Salah, what a difference he could have made. Most of us I got 0 off the bench for Salah. But no non-free hitters had him. Very few. And they would have been absolutely smashed if he'd got a couple of goals. So, obviously Gakpo did well. Goal and assist. But like I said, he's playing West Ham. Thiago, penalty. He does it every week. There's nothing unusual. I had him a week before. And he was so close to getting 2 goals. Missed his penalty. Got 4 points. So that's what he's been doing. Brentford losing their clean sheet against Burnley. Very unlucky. That would have been a lot more points for free hitters. As for people saying Foden was lucky, he was playing Leeds. He was in the form of his life. And you're pretty lucky he didn't get over 20 points, in my opinion, if you didn't have him. Because that was the least he deserved, was 15. Sade, who has been a minutes monster, came off early for some reason. Didn't do well. Otara did better than him. He was a good pick as well. But, these are all players that on any day could get points. Some of them did, some of them didn't. People had Virgil van Dijk. He got 6. Came close to a goal as well. Collins ended up on 4 points, I think, for Brentford. He could have had a massive haul. Absolutely massive. Attacking points, clean sheets. But as it turned out, he got 4 points. O'Reilly, another one. Could have had 20. ended up with 4 points. So people that didn't free hit, calling free hitters lucky, I don't think it's the case. I think any week you play your free hit and you play against the 4 weakest teams in the league, you're going to get a lot of points. And most weeks you are. You know, triple captainers. Now let's talk about them, because I don't like the triple captainship, because any given week your captain can blank. And there's a reason why when you go down to bookies, you can't put a bet on Haaland scoring. It's not 100% odds that he's going to score, is it? Because some weeks he doesn't score. I mean, I don't know what his odds were to score against Leeds. Probably like 50%, 60% even, maybe. Something quite high. But that means there's a 40% chance he doesn't score. And that's what happened here. So it's not like it's totally ridiculous that he doesn't score, because any given week, he's only like a 50% chance he is going to score. Which is why a free hit's better, because you've got 11 players, all with a 40% chance of scoring. Then there's a lot more chance 4 or 5 of them to score, and that will kind of even out the odds. But with one player, anything can happen in any given game week. So, which is why I don't like the triple captain. It's kind of a luck-based chip, isn't it? And your luck was out. Hang on, picks my throat. Too much talking to you lot. Right, so that's basically my thoughts on the free hit. And any week you play it, I think you should probably do well on it. If you pick a week where all the players have got good fixtures. I mean, I think in a couple of weeks, I was going to play it in game week 16, I think. Newcastle home to Burnley, other good fixtures. And it could be far better than this week was. You know, like I said, I only gained 18 points from this free hit. And now this week I've got to take a hit when I might have been better just saving the free hit. I still would have got a nice green arrow with 53 points. And using it this week might have turned out better, you know. But I got a massive rank rise from 450k to 126k. But even people that think they did badly this week, like Andrew, FPL Nightmare, I think he had about 49.50. And he felt like he had a terrible game week because we've all got 70 or whatever. But he's still got a massive green arrow. So the average this week was very, very low. So even the people that feel like they haven't done very well, but you didn't play a chip. You know, like I said, you're going to get your day in the sun at a different time with your free hit chip. So I'm just checking everything's working. It is. Get back to the... Right, so what to do? What to do, peeps, because there are problems. I see Cunha's had his red flag removed and it's now yellow. FPL team is a bit slack, you know, like they've still got Senesi as being available when he isn't. So he can go to the bench. Go to the bench, Senesi. Right, so Senesi's on the bench. Sar's out. Which means currently I have to play Gw, who probably, I don't know actually. I think he will get minutes. He came on, he got an assist, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago? Did quite well. And he didn't play against Arsenal. But away at Leeds, I think there's going to be mass rotation from Maresca. After that Arsenal game was so tough. Especially playing with 10 men. I think it's more physically tiring. So João Pedro looked pretty knackered. So, and Enzo could get a rest. I know Esteval came off early, didn't he? So whether that increases his chances of starting this week, maybe Neto will get a rest. Gittins will come in, or Garnacho. And we wouldn't be surprised if Gw's involved. You know, maybe Delap will start. Gw come on for Delap in the second half. But I do think Gw will get minutes this week. Obviously, Caicedo's out as well, isn't he? Banned for 3 weeks. So Santos will probably come in for him. Defence, I wouldn't mind picking Chalobah. I've got to make a defensive transfer this week, by the way. So Gabriel's got to go. And he's probably going tonight. I'm not too worried about prices, but he is going to drop tonight. And the most important thing I need for a replacement is to start this week. After this week, it's not so bad because I get another transfer next week, obviously. And then we get 5 free transfers. But Senesi will be back, which kind of make it a bit different. It eases the problems. They're very specific to this week. Kunis should be okay, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then there's Thiago as well, who has to be a bit of a doubt. So I'm very, very thin on the ground here. I've already got Rodon and Gw playing. So something has to be done. Now, I've scouted around looking for a defender that I like, and it's not easy. It is not easy. Like, I could go Arsenal, but Saliba's out. I would have gone Saliba. Timber must be due a rest. I 100% need whoever I bring in to start this week, else it's pointless. Absolutely pointless. So I'd like to get O'Reilly, but he's not 100% to start, is he? Let's be honest. I mean, he's great attacking-wise, but let's not forget, City did concede 2 goals, didn't they? So, is he nailed on? I don't know. Perhaps like with rotation, especially 3 games in a week. So there's a chance we hear beforehand. Now, I think Newcastle had a press conference. I'm looking at Chow. Sodo was telling me to get Chow last week, and I dismissed him. I thought, why would I want him? But they do have great fixtures. They've got Burnley next week, I think, or the week after. So they're home to Tottenham, who've been pretty toothless. But it's a big game. So he's not going to... I don't think we're going to see rotation. I don't see... Botman's still out. He got 2 goals. He scored 2 goals. Are you going to rotate a player that has just scored 2 goals for your team and got man of the match? It's unlikely, isn't it? It's unlikely. And then they've got Burnley the following week, where he's more likely to be rested, to be fair. But it won't matter to me so much next week. And Sunderland, Chelsea, they've got reasonable fixtures. They've got long term, they've got Burnley, Leeds and Wolves coming up. Massive fixture congestion though. They've got a Carabao Cup game, plus their European games. That's the only thing putting me off him. I would have liked Murillo, Forest, but he didn't play, did he? So I'll go through and look at some options. Like I can say, Arsenal's in a state of flux. Bournemouth, not really interested, although I could guarantee a starter this week, but it would be so short term. Villa, we've got Brentford, not really interested in a Brentford defender when they got Arsenal and away at Tottenham. I did have Collins originally, but that was more for 16-17. Brighton, not really interested. Van Heck's quite a popular defender, isn't he? He's been doing quite well. He kept the clean sheet at the weekend. Burnley, no. Chelsea, like I said, Chalobah would be good. However, they do rotate, don't they? So he could miss this week. Palace now. Munoz. Could go for Munoz away at Burnley. But he's on 4 yellows. And they're looking tired. And away at Burnley's a lot harder than home to Burnley. Everton, not really interested in Tchaikovsky. I think people are getting rid of him. Another couple of weeks, Anderson would have been the play, wouldn't he? He would have been the play. An easy option would have been Anderson. You know, could still get him, I suppose. Play him against Man City. I mean, it's not a great fixture, is it? But at least you know you're getting DEFCONs. And you're setting myself up. I should never have got rid of him in the first place, to be honest with you. So, he's an option. Liverpool have already got Virgil van Dijk. Hopefully they've turned a corner. I don't really want another one. Like I said, O'Reilly, nice fixtures. It is going to be some rotation now. But once Aït-Nouri goes to AFCON, then he's kind of set, isn't he? So O'Reilly is interesting. I mean, I could hold off, take the price drop on Gabriel, and hope for some team news tomorrow. So Riley does kind of stand out a little bit, doesn't he? I mean, he could have had so many points at the weekend. Man United, I mean, I have been looking at De Ligt. Martinez just came back. I don't know if that's going to muddy the waters a little bit. But De Ligt's been talked about as a potential new captain, hasn't he? So home to West Ham. It's quite appealing. It's quite appealing. Away at Wolves. Wolves looked a lot better yesterday. A lot better. They were quite unlucky in terms of free hit, actually. That was the one area where I think we were a bit lucky with our Villa clean sheet, because Wolves deserved something out of that match. They played very well. Arias was very good. Strand Larsen had chances. But they're rapidly running out of time, aren't they, Wolves? But at least they don't, losing my train of thought. Yeah, Man United, at least they don't have Europe. We don't have a Carabao Cup to worry about like Newcastle do. There's not such, they're not already exhausted, are they? Now, the last game of this game week, so they've got like a few extra time off as usual than everybody else. Although I guess it means the Wolves game will come around a bit quicker for them. Tottenham not interested in a defender. West Ham, Wolves. So yeah, there's Chow or there's De Ligt, in my opinion, or possibly a Man City defender, O'Reilly. They're the three I'm focusing on. And now we've got to also consider whether to take a hit. Let's say I put in, I think they're all about the same price, aren't they? So if I put in the Newcastle defender, but let's check the prices. So he's 4.9. Can come in for Rodon, but then Rodon has to come in for Gw. So I'm still pretty much left with nothing on the bench except Gw, who, like I said, I think will get a point this week. Probably all he will get, but at least he will get a point. And if you've got, where are we? Yeah, if you've got Dubravka and you're worried about Pope, I don't think you need to transfer Pope straight out. I mean, Dubravka's okay to play. So let's have a quick look at the price of De Ligt. He's only 5 million, so he's only 0.1 more, so this shouldn't change plans. So now let's look at Sarr. I take him out. I've got 8.5 million. Bumo's 8.6. So that rules out a triple Man United for this week, or the next 2 weeks, which I was considering, to be fair. I was considering it. Foden is quite appealing. He's on a rich vein of form, and when he goes in form, he tends to strike, doesn't he? He'll have 3 or 4 weeks where he gets braces. Again, very short turnaround. Is he going to get rested for Shirky or somebody? I mean, they need game time, some of these players, don't they? And like I said before, the one thing I need this week is somebody who's completely nailed on. I mean, Foden does look good. He does look good in the team. That light blue colour next to these reds. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? We've got Cunha, Foden, attacking. You know, these aren't boring. But the unit goes on about all my boring picks. But Foden, Cunha, not boring pick. Cunha's only owned by 3.5% of people. People say, Nick, you've got the same team as everyone else. But like Chow, 2% ownership or whatever. Cunha, 3% ownership. So, you know, you get in this kind of Twitter bubble thinking everyone's got the same team, but really they haven't. I mean, I went up from 500,000 to 120k just from getting 71 points this week in 1 week. So if everyone had had the same team, I wouldn't have gone up at all, would I? So you've got to kind of lose. I mean, I went through that phase a few years ago where I was calling everybody sheep, a bit like D-Unit does now. And like I'd been number 2 on the Hall of Fame for about 3 years. This was before algorithms. You know, it's when you had to watch games to play. I was like right up there. There was like me, people like Late Riser, Mark Southerns, who were up there. People that watch games. And then gradually we got overtaken by this kind of new breed that turned up that just kind of use algorithms, FPL review and all these sort of things. And they gradually kind of took over because there's thousands of them. And they made it difficult to compete with. And for a while, I responded by looking for differentials, calling everybody sheep and everything. But like, I came to the conclusion like last year that you've got to kind of incorporate everything into your play. And not just rail against the template, because the template's normally a template for a reason. And there's still good scope for picking goat picks. But you've got to kind of be a bit more selective and not try and pick a goat pick every single week. Because if you do, you end up with like lots of short-term players in your team and that type of thing. So, like I said, it's difficult. You know, it is more difficult now. But people say it is. But I mean, I'm already in the top 1% just from playing normally. And a template doesn't always do well because you look at game week 1, where everyone had double Forest defence and everyone had Anderson in midfield and Anderson in defence and all those sort of players. And it started rubbish, didn't it? But you look now and you think, well, Anderson's absolutely fantastic now in midfield. So there was nothing wrong with the players that were picked. It was just like the timing of it all didn't turn out to be right. But like I said, these players are in the people's teams for a reason. So, could anyone be rested this week? I can't see. I mean, Sanchez could be, I guess, against Leeds. Christensen might get a game. But like I said, I've got Dubravka. Can't see him being rested. And then we've got Lacroix should play. Virgil van Dijk pretty much. Chow if I get him. Cunha could start on the bench. It's possible. I mean, Mount got the goal, didn't he? So Mount could get a start. Foden could be if I get him, which is probably why I won't get him, to be fair. Fernandez, Saka, and Jai is one who possibly could get rested. I mean, Fernandez won't. Saka should play some part. Thiago could be injured, who could be a worry, which is why maybe taking a hit's not the worst idea. Although it's probably going to cut me off from Gw's late goal against Leeds, isn't it, when he gets a winner? But anyway, Foden, I need someone nailed. And talking about Anderson, very interested in Anderson. I mean, how did he get 6 points? He got 2 bonus points yesterday and they lost 2-0. I captained him in FPL Challenge, where you get points this week for recoveries. He got me like 38 points. I captained him. I went up to 42nd in the world in FPL Challenge on the back of captaining Anderson. It dropped off after the Arsenal game. But like, yeah, I went up to 43rd in the world because of Anderson. And 6 points in FPL. Nobody gets 2 bonus when a team's lost 2-0. And he's obviously had no attacking returns or anything, and he's not a defender. Crazy. He got 2 bonus points. The guy's obviously pretty special, isn't he? They're playing Wolves this week. Who, like I said, Wolves did look good. And Forest did lose 2-0. You know, I felt a bit sorry for Wolves, actually, yesterday. Because they deserved something from that match. Yeah, Anderson. I'm still considering him. Because he's nailed, isn't he? I mean, I know he's going to... The only thing that's putting me off Anderson, right, is when you take a 4-point hit, you want to have kind of a glimmer of hope that it will immediately repair itself and you will get a haul. With Anderson, it's not likely to, is it? You know, he's likely to get 4 or 5 points, which is okay, but it doesn't immediately pay for the hit. I've got to get rid of Njai next week. And maybe then I get Foden or somebody else like that, because then it won't matter so much if they don't start, because I'll have Senesi back by then. So yeah, maybe Anderson is the one. And the good thing with Anderson is he's so cheap. How much would I have in the bank? 3.2. Would I get Palmer? Oh, no. Should I be considering? Should I be leaving space for Palmer? Of course, he's not playing Leeds, though, is he, next week? Who's he playing? Away at Bournemouth, home to Everton, away at Newcastle, home to Villa, home to Bournemouth, away at City. Average fixtures for Palmer. But should I be leaving space for Palmer? Should I be buying somebody this week who leaves me enough money in the bank to go for a goat pick? Now, talking about goat picks, Palmer could be a goat pick. Imagine if he comes back tomorrow and scores a goal or 2. I'm going to want him, aren't I? I am going to want him. Can't get him. There's no way. It doesn't matter who I get for Gabriel, unless they're 4.3 million, which if they are probably not much use to me. I'll have a look at some stage to see if there are any that'll be useful for me this week. But maybe there are. Maybe there are some. I'll have a look. And if there are, I might go for it. It's tempting, you know. It is tempting. Anyway, peeps, that's about it, I think. So, basically, need a defender who's going to start. Probably going to take a hit, because otherwise I have to play Rodon, and Thiago might not play as well. I don't need to take a hit, actually. I don't need to, I think. If I just play Rodon, So let's play Rodon and have Gw as my only bench player. I mean, Thiago could miss out, couldn't he? And I have to play Gw. That's the worst that can happen, basically, I think. I think that's the worst that can happen. In which case, I get 1 point. But I saved 4 points. So in effect, I've got 5 points. So anyone I replace, mind you, likes of Anderson are going to make me points in future, aren't they? It's one less future transfer too. It probably is worth a hit, to be fair. I mean, a hit doesn't have to pay for itself straight away, does it? There's no real rush for it to pay for itself. I mean, it's going to save a transfer next week, which means I can use it on taking out Njai rather than taking out Sa. So, yeah, it might be Anderson, you know. It might be, unless I get news that Foden's starting, in which case I might go for a cheeky Foden punt. I mean, he did so well for me on the free hit, didn't he? But as for defender, again, I mean, should I get Gabriel tonight? I mean, I've kept him this long. I think I've only lost 0.1 on him so far. But I'm not really worrying about money so much this season. But how much information are we going to get between now and the deadline? Are we going to get much? I mean, the deadline's on Tuesday, isn't it, for you guys? Wednesday morning for me. So it's Tuesday evening your time. Is there going to be any news, really? I mean, obviously there could be for the Tuesday night fixtures, couldn't there? I mean, we could hear that O'Reilly's starting, which, to be honest, would lean me towards getting O'Reilly, I think, rather than getting Chow. So if I wait a day, just on the off chance of that, it costs me 0.1. We've seen when I looked at getting Palmer in, that money is still kind of a bit important. Although I think realistically, getting in Palmer is going to no, there is a route to Palmer in a few weeks, and that route is Virgil van Dijk, isn't it? And that route is Virgil van Dijk. It would actually be quite easy in that scenario, I think, because we saw if I got Chow, I was only 0.6 of getting Palmer in. Whereas if I took out Virgil van Dijk and got a 5 million defender, I'd better do it with like 0.4, 0.5 to spare. So I think I can afford to wait. I might wait because news is everything, isn't it? I mean, we could hear that Thiago's fine. Or we could hear that he's out. We could even hear that Cunha's out, couldn't we? Which would be a bit of a game changer. But anyway, peeps, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to head off. Do we want to have a quick look at Reddit? See what they're waffling on about? We'll try and get there quickly. Where's the home? Where are we? And see all my dodgy now, here we go. What are people talking about? FPL Game Week 4 scout selections. Garnacho's in there. Yeah, I don't know why João Pedro's in there though. He looked tired to me. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, I think it's 50-50 at best that João Pedro starts this week. I mean, it's got Chalobah in there too, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rotation. I mean, they've just played Barcelona and Arsenal in the space of like 4 days. So I can see rotation. Timber should start. I mean, I could get Timber, couldn't I? But as we've seen, Timber is expensive and he does actually affect future plans. For example, I wouldn't better get a Foden in. I wouldn't better get a Gakpo in. I didn't mention Gakpo. He's another one I'm considering. But again, you know, he played 90 minutes, didn't he? 90 minutes. and maybe they plan to rest him midweek. Maybe Slot's kind of laid out a plan of who's starting when. But Salah didn't play. So Gravenbach didn't look great. So Bozozlai played on Salah's position, didn't he, I think? So only Bozozlai or Wirtz can play where Wirtz is playing. Wirtz looked pretty good. Salah comes back in, it affects those two. I mean, Wirtz could play in Gakpo's position. It's another, and that's what I'd like to do, I think, get Gakpo. But it's a risk. It is a risk for this midweek, and I can't afford to bring in somebody who's a risk, which is why I'm thinking Anderson. Less likely to bring immediate returns. However, long term, great to have in the team. Gives me maximum flexibility in terms of future moves because of his price. Whereas Gakpo or Foden pretty much use up all my money. And yeah, Anderson is a safe play. I can't see him being rested. He's a machine. So clean sheet odds, Arsenal again, 52%. I wonder if I got the scoring odds out. I could use that as an example for Haaland. Because, the triple captainers so upset about bad luck. But he probably was only about 50% to the score, Arsenal, Liverpool. So Palace 39. Should I get Munoz? Again, expensive. I don't really want double Palace defence. I mean, I've been going by the narrative that they're tired. Man United 39%. That's a tick in the box for De Ligt. Chelsea 37. City 36. Newcastle 35. So if I got De Ligt, he'd have more chance than Chow of a clean sheet. Now, Chow, he's like doubled his goal tally from about 4 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So, but the thing is, has Chow been playing in teams where they use all this kind of new bomb it in for the defenders to score tactics? Maybe he hasn't. Maybe that's why he hasn't scored goals, because he hasn't been playing in a team where that's kind of a major component of their play. And it does seem to be what the Premier League teams are doing now, doesn't it? So maybe Chow is going to get more goals. I think he's 24, 25. Sometimes it just clicks into place, doesn't it? And although career-wise he hasn't had hardly any goals, maybe now he will start getting them. So he's a strong contender for me this week. Like I said, if I was going today, which I probably should do, then I'd just get Chow in. What else have we got here? Who's at the bottom? Sunderland, Brentford, West Ham. 12.5%. 12.5%. Forgotten who's playing them now. Oh, Man United, isn't it? Man United, West Ham. Forgotten peeps. I've forgotten who are all playing. Oh, Brentford, Arsenal. Who is Sunderland playing? Liverpool. That's it. So, yeah. So if you're on a free hit this week, again, you target Liverpool players, you get Arsenal players in, you get Man United players in. What's this? Kuna expected to be back in 14. Ah, good. I didn't know this. Ruben Amorim confirmed the injury on Monday, and his update on Friday was that the forward would be able to return against West Ham this week. They don't have to drum it up on Reddit, though, because he wasn't that clear. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't that clear about it. suspension tracker. I don't know if you can read that. I can hardly read it. Munoz on 4. Calafiori, Donnarumma, Xhaka. Szoboszlai's on 4 still. I'm not going to get Szoboszlai. He was on my original list. I've decided he's not an FPL asset. You know, he's one of those ones that looks good on the algorithms, but in terms of points, to me, he's another Tielemans. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I want talisman in my team and players with a bit of upside, you know, your Cunhas of the world, not your Szoboszlai's. I'd rather have Gakpo. I know it's a bit of bias having got points from him this week, but I think free hit and 14. The trouble is the there's a lot more chance of rotation, isn't there, in 14? Makes it difficult. Gakpo, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. I honestly would not mind Gakpo this week. I'm still considering it. But like I said, Wirtz could play in that position. Apparently the doctors or whatever didn't want Wirtz to be playing much this week. But Slot went against their advice and put him in. So I think that shows how important Wirtz is for Slot. You know, I think it means he obviously thinks a lot of Wirtz. And Wirtz did play very well, didn't he? He's definitely getting better and better. And they won 2-0. I'm thinking now Isaac's up to speed as well. Liverpool are going to change, you know. So it's the clinging on to the team from a previous manager, I think that's out the window now. You know, Slot's realised he's got to be his own man. And I think we're going to see changes in formation. Salah's could go in January, maybe. You know, they won 2-0 without him. He doesn't defend. He's almost a liability in some ways for Liverpool. They need to move on from that era, I think, and from Salah. So, what else? What else, peeps? That's about it. I've got to go anyway. I've got to work today. Very unfortunate. Very bad timing. I only work 2 days a week. And there are 2 days when I should be planning for this game week. You know, like I work and then I'm home tonight. Is it tomorrow morning, the deadline? It is, isn't it? It's Tuesday morning here now. It's about this time tomorrow, isn't it, the deadline? Yeah, maybe I should make my transfer today. Maybe I should. Anyway, peeps, it's coming around so quick. Like I said, I'm working all day. I'll come home, I'll be tired, won't be able to work out what I'm doing. Then I've got to go to bed, and then I wake up and it's deadline. So it's all very much of a rush. Very much of a rush. Anyway, peeps, I'll talk to you all later, and cheers for now. And sorry if I've been rambling on. You know, you've probably all disappeared. The cat's just gone out. She's had enough. And you've all had enough. So I'll talk to you all later. This will be the final one before the game week. I will be back with a game week review straight after. Oh, hang on. Let's have a look at the final totals in that Content Creator League, because I did my thing the other day before the end, and Bakar 81, General 77 with no chips, Andy 76, Praz 74, Wag 74 with no chips, and has yet to use a single chip. No wild card, nothing. Then me 71, Harry 68, Krellin 66, Lake Riser 65, Az 61, Joe 51, Mark Sevens 49, and Fabio 47. I suspect every single one had a green arrow, because even 49 was enough for a green arrow this week. So that's the final wrap on that. So if you didn't play a free hit chip, you still had a chance last week for doing well. So don't be too down, because you probably only... You know, we probably only beat our old teams by 20 points, and you'll probably do the same when you beat your use your free hits. You don't need to start talking about everybody being sheep. Just play your own game, peeps. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. So cheers for now.